Welcome, comrades, in FEMA District Number 1 to All About Cars. Here, a gorgeous Saturday, September 20... well, I'm pushing myself. I'm reading it backwards. September 12th. Okay, so we got less than 10 days of summer left. And my name is Ralph Medeiros. I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center in the north end of New Bedford on Church Street, 867 Church Street. And right off exit 5 off of Route 140. And you go past Regal House, Web Plumbing and Heating, big wholesale establishment, and you come up to the new Dollar General, and right beside it is Ralph's Auto Center, directly across New Bedford Vocational's faculty entrance. Very easy to get to, not a traffic light or a stop sign if you're coming off of 140 from the north or the south, and you get onto Church Street. Give us a call here, 996-0500, 996-0500. We can talk about whatever's on your mind. You just listened to a nice song, a real happy beat song. Richard Himber, Zing Went the Strings in My Heart. And I believe that was done in 1932 or 3. I could be wrong. Have to look it up. I didn't write it down, and that's unusual of me. But there's also a more modern rendition, which we'll play, too, that a lot of these songs in the past are brought forward here into the recent past. So there you have it. And let's see. We've got a few calls here. We'll go take this call here. Hi. Very good afternoon to you, caller. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you, Ralphie?
I'm well.
How's life treating you?
Very good. No complaints. I could be a Syrian refugee. Thank God that's not the case. So we have to give blessings for what we have.
That's right.
So when you look at what's happening in the world,
plant your tree and harvest some fruit.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot to be thankful for.
I agree.
Sometimes. So you always hear the negative side of life. So
we're getting ready for Christian's getting ready for the Apple Peach Festival today.
I don't. Is it this week? I wasn't aware if it's this weekend.
Maybe it's next weekend.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just in Acushnet for a funeral mass at St. Francis of Xavier for a friend of mine who passed on, George Gracia, who was a master electrician at Julius Koch, and a real good guy. And unfortunately, he has departed this plane. So.
Oh.
So I was over there, and I didn't notice at least anything on right near the police station and parting ways over there. But
yeah.
So there you have it. So
you selling any cars? Or?
Yeah, we've been busy. Thank God, we've been busy. We're working hard.
You going to put Billy as your head salesman?
Billy does a good job. Billy does a good job, and that's for sure. And he's a customer as well. So
good.
Yeah. So we take care of his friends and family. And
did you finally get a new mechanic over there?
We have an apprentice we hired.
Well, that's good.
I have to thank a lady who listens to this radio broadcast who spoke to this young fella's father. I guess she's the gentleman is her landlord, and I've got to get in touch with her and thank her and get her something for her kindness of thinking about us. So
well, that's good.
Yeah, this is how we network on this program. So I'm appreciative of people's efforts, and she did her part. So I'll have to be in touch with her.
Good.
I don't know her name yet, but I'll find out.
Very good.
So what's on your mind that's bugging you today? In the next
the presidential race. The candidates out there. I like. Well, I guess you don't have much to choose from, but I like Chris Christie. He's kind of a level-headed guy. Trump scares the hell out of me.
Trump scares the hell out of you, huh? Christie doesn't do much for me, to be honest with you.
No, he's all hot air, and he's arrogant. He's pompous.
You're talking about Trump now, right?
Yeah, Trump.
Yeah, okay.
He demeans women. He demeans his opponents, and that's not very nice. So would you want him on the world stage? Holy crap! I'm
amazed hearing this conversation coming from you, comrade.
Well, I'm trying to
I see such a soft spot in you.
Yes. I'm trying to strike an even balance.
Wow. Okay.
Well, I think a Chris Christie and Ben Carson ticket would be wonderful.
Well, Ben Carson, yes. Christie, I'm not sold on him, to be personally speaking. I don't know.
Well, he's got fire in his belly. Jeb Bush, he's a number 9 on the sleep number bed for me.
Yeah.
and Jingle, what's his name, Bobby Jingle?
Yeah.
Jangle or Jingle?
Jingle, yeah.
I like somebody who's a little bit outspoken and doesn't take any crap from the reporters, and that's Chris Christie.
He's well, I'd have to listen and study him more. I'm concerned when they're all most of them, not all, but most all want to, more build up, more war. And if you want prosperity, we have to have peace and build this country up. You can't be having wars, spending hundreds of billions, trillions of dollars overseas, enriching certain individuals and certain corporations worldwide.
I agree.
At the expense of you and me. And we have nothing to show for it. We have nothing to show for it.
Peace through strength but I think we need to build up our own country.
Yeah, but that's a thought and a wish of mine, but I don't think it'll happen. The powers
we need to figure out how many Tsarnaev brothers are in our country. Kind of a quote of evildoers plotting in our country that we don't know who's here.
Well, you know what? We have the resources already committed to do that without reducing our civil rights and creating a police state. Okay? Because they always create these flags. And granted, yes, terrorism is an issue. We've been attacked before, yes. But to take away all our civil liberties and create a police state, I have an issue with that. Especially when we're not making friends overseas. We've destroyed the Middle East. We've killed over 1 million people in Iraq. Cost us trillions of dollars. We've killed hundreds of thousands in Afghanistan. We still have 10,000 people there. We're still losing troops there, and we're really not winning the battle. And a lot of Afghanis, innocents, are being killed as well. And most of the heroin or poppy the opium is grown in Afghanistan. All our money, all our might, we haven't destroyed those fields. What the hell? We've got Monsanto would gleefully provide all the Agent Orange we needed to defoliate all those poppy plants. Well, how come that wasn't done? Why do you think? I mean, there's so many issues. I got to let you go. I got so many calls here. They're all the lines are burdened. So.
Well, we need a giant reset in this country, and I think it's coming.
Oh, it's not coming. It's in motion. Yeah. It's in motion. Make no mistakes about it. Yeah.
Hey,
I agree.
Brother.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hey, Ralph.
Yes.
It's Mark.
Hey, Mark. How are you?
Good. I wanted to call to let you know that the Apple Peach Festival is this weekend. We had the Apple Peach pageant last night.
Okay. Well, that's very good that you called in because I was unaware of it.
Yeah, I heard on your first call, so I figured I'd chime in and let you know that it's this weekend.
Yeah, well, I was in a cushion this morning for a funeral mass, but I didn't, I wasn't aware of anything going on. I did see a car wash, young gals out there, and kids near the police department, town hall, wanting to do car washes. I did see that, but I was unaware of the Apple Peach Festival. So that's good. That's a good time. People should head out there. So it's today and tomorrow.
I believe so.
Oh, very good. Thank you for bringing us up to date.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. Anything else on your mind?
No, not really. I just wanted to chime in and let you know that because. Okay. You were thinking it was next week. You wouldn't see it.
Yeah. Well, the farmer. I told him I was unaware of when it was, and he talked. He said, well, maybe it's next week. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you cleared that up.
Okay. Hey, that Jeep is running great too.
Good. You enjoying it?
Oh yes, very much.
Very good. Well, that's good. Get ready for the fall and the winter coming.
Oh, you know it.
Okay.
Okay, we'll catch you later.
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.
Bye. Bye. Let's see here. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, good afternoon, Ralph. It's Bob in the Cushions. How you doing?
Hey, Bob. How you been?
I've been good.
Good.
Hey, just wanted to let your listeners know that the car show at Fort Tabor Rodman tomorrow has been postponed until the following Sunday due to possibility of inclement weather tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow's... I haven't even looked up tomorrow's weather.
Yeah.
So possibility of rain.
Maybe showers and, people with these antique cars, they don't take them out of the garage when it's inclement weather. So rather than take a chance... So this is a car show that was going to be held tomorrow at Fort Tabor. Right. Is this tied in with the War Museum? Yes, it is. It's a fundraiser that we're putting on, as well as we plan on conducting tours of the Stone Fort, too, as an adjunct to the car show.
Okay.
So I'll be one of the tour guides inside the fort. So if anybody wants to know everything or anything about the fort, just show up the day of the car show, and it'll be open from 9:30 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon.
Okay.
And we'll take tours through the fort. So.
Very good. And the car show will be next Sunday.
Next Sunday, September 20th.
Weather permitting. Very good.
All right.
Thanks,
so
Bob.
Just wanted to make sure that word gets out.
All right. You've got it. Thank you.
All right. Well,
yep. Bye.
Have a great day.
Yep. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know what call. The lines are all lit up here. A very good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mr. Medeiros. How you doing?
I'm doing terrific. How about yourself?
I want to give some praise to your shop. I went over to get my oil change yesterday for my Mazda 3, but they're always so good and nice over there. But I got a question for you.
Okay.
Why is it that how many states are in the country now? I got to go back to school.
50 states. 50.
50 states. Okay.
Yep.
Why is it that we do not make American tires?
Why?
Here in America anymore?
That's a good question.
I'm old school.
Yeah.
I'm around. I was brought up in the 50s and 60s and stuff. So, and I think back to the Goodyear plant down in the south, and I'm like, man, we could get American tires anywhere we wanted.
Well,
so I'm like, when I'm going to get tires for the Mazda 3, and they're starting to crack. So I talked to your service manager yesterday about it, and I'm looking me up some tires. But I want American tires, so the only ones I can get are Coopers, so that's what I'm going to buy.
Well, Coopers, just so you know,
curious.
Cooper does have a plant in the United States, but they're owned, if I'm not mistaken, Cooper is owned by Apex Rubber, which is an Indian company. It's no longer an American-owned company. Yes, they have a tire plant in these United States. I believe one left that makes some of the Cooper tires. But if my memory serves me right, they're owned by Apex Rubber, an Indian-based corporation. And then Bridgestone owns Firestone. And I believe Goodyear is the last American company that's owned in America. And I believe they have plants worldwide as well. But it's the price of American labor. And it's not just the price of American labor, it's the lack of productivity. Because we have to be productive to get these high wages. And and also it's basically I don't want to get real heavy here, but it's the global movement of capital here to make the higher returns and then bring it all in nearly duty-free to America, competing against American companies, which slams them hard. So when you're competing against, the Chinese making tires, that Thailand makes a hell of a lot of tires. Japan, yes, they're coming back online. At their time they were uncompetitive, but now their currency's so devalued that they're more competitive now.
It's like everything else in the country. All our hardworking Americans are losing them kind of jobs. Where that stuff should have stayed around forever. In my opinion, that all them kind of industries, in my opinion, should be here more than what they are. So it's hard to compete. We only have one plant.
If you're paying a United Rubber worker, $45 an hour, and you can move your plant to Thailand and pay
money, huh?
$4. But it's we just have a failed policy in this country. Is essentially what it comes down to.
It's all about the money.
Yeah,
instead of thinking about what kind of quality tire you're making that's safe for the person to drive on on their car, whatever, tractors, whatever it is.
But you have a voice in the sense you vote with your dollars. So if you go out and seek out an American tire, if more people wake up. You read the labels. You understand where the product comes from. See, most people buy things. They don't even look at the label. They don't have a clue. So many people are just clueless. Read the labels, know where the stuff's coming from, refuse to buy certain products, and vote with your dollar, and they'll wake up. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to do. That's the only tire that it's still made here. All the rest of them are made all over the place. Canada, Japan, like you were just talking about, China, Mexico. It's unbelievable. Like a Michelin. It's like such a that tire's been around since we were kids.
Yeah, Michelin's a French. No. Michelin's a French company. They're the ones I think who pioneered the radial tire, going back into the late 50s, 60s. Yeah.
Well, anyways, I'm going to be getting them through you guys. He's going to get them for me at the shop, and
talk to Ulysses. Tell him your concerns, and he'll try to meet your objectives.
Yeah, it's all set already. He already knows. He looked everything up and told me what it would be price-wise. And
all right. Well,
I'll take it down to Henry's and have it aligned once everything's done. I went to school with him, so
I already talked to him. It's funny when he said that. He said, "Oh, we don't do that here." I'm like, "Yeah, that's right, he don't." But we'll send it to him. I'll tell you to go to Henry's. I said, "Well, that's funny because I went to school with him."
Yeah, no, we do a lot of business with him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's one of the best, if not. So that's where we'll go. But yeah, I'm just curious about what your opinion was about that. I was just.
Well, I'm concerned. We cannot continue to have these huge trade deficits, and that's basically money leaving our country. We're sending our wealth overseas.
Yeah.
And it's just, even though we have a right now we have a without getting too complicated, we have a reserve currency, and that allows us the unique privilege to not worry so much about our deep trade deficits, at least in the short term. We're running into some structural changes here, but it's a concern. Yeah. It's a concern. But your congressman and your senator, I mean, it's the biggest. They all go in of modest means. They all come out rich. Figure it out. I got to let you go.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for your business. Thank you for voting with your dollars.
I won't go anywhere else. I remember you from the old Mazda days, so that's where the car's going to go.
Yeah, well, thank you for your business. We appreciate it because you vote with your dollars.
Thank you. I've known you since I was a kid, so I wouldn't go anywhere else.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, bye-bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Hey, good afternoon.
Hey, Jay, how are you?
Okay. Did you happen to watch a series of programs on the History Channel called Ancient Myths?
I think I've caught little bits here and there. My wife has it on, but I'm
Star of Bethlehem.
I'm sorry.
They had one about the Star of Bethlehem.
Probably. I'm trying to remember about.
It was caused by a conjunction of two planets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they can trace it back.
Mm-hmm.
And they traced it back to the year 5 BC.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Now, the interesting part is it has to do with the birth of Jesus, obviously.
Right.
So they said that, the official date given in the Bible is incorrect. That if the Magi, in fact, saw the Star of Bethlehem, they went to Bethlehem in 5 BC.
Okay.
So it makes him about 37 or 38 years old when he was crucified instead of 33, which doesn't make any difference.
No.
But by using astronomical calculations with of course the aid of modern computers,
mm-hmm.
they could narrow this down to 5 BC. I thought that was pretty good. I watched that episode twice.
Yep.
Because I wanted to make sure I got all the details right.
When you think about it, Jay, to be off only 5 years in writings that come forward here now in the present 2,000 years isn't really that much of a difference, considering they had no real good recording means in the day, in the ancient times. We call them ancient times, but they had times that they'd call ancient times, 2,000 years ago. If they look back, they've looked back several centuries. They call it ancient time with the Egyptians.
And when they changed from the Gregorian calendar when they changed from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar, I believe they made also a 3 or 4 year mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And so this actually should be 2011, but they didn't catch it for several hundred years, and they said, we're not going to fix it now.
Well, it's interesting, though, that they could, look it up astrologically and figure it out, I
know.
And see how the universe was all in place at the time, because everything moves at a certain speed, so to speak. And
But I just found that program very interesting. I hope, because it was supposed to be the season opener, but I haven't heard it advertised since I watched the 3 episodes in a row. I don't know if it's still on. They may have, canceled it for some reason.
Well, it's interesting when I like reading into things like that. It kind of gives you a different insight into what's happening around us.
Yeah, I know, because you always talk about the extension of daylight, how much we've increased or decreased, and
we got a blood moon coming up in less than 2 weeks. or about 2 weeks, I guess, right? So
yeah,
we got that last one of the triad. So it's always, and these all fall on high Jewish holidays. So it's a unique set of circumstances. And the next triad of blood moons. I'm sorry.
That's the first time it's fallen on a Jewish holiday in how many years?
I think the last was in the 60s.
Okay.
In the 40s.
So what, 50 years ago?
Yeah. And I think before that there was an event in the 40s. But the next triad of blood moons on high Jewish holidays is over 400 years into the future. So it's right now there haven't been many that have fallen on the Jewish calendar.
No, I don't think so.
No, you can look it up. There hasn't been many. It's interesting when you read the events that have taken place when these things take place in the history of the Jewish state, of the Jewish people in general, not the state, because the state's relatively new in these modern times. But
and of course, if you go online, you see all kinds of predictions for that day.
Yeah. There's all kinds. Yeah.
Which
some are sound, some are a little out there, but
some of them you have to take with a grain of salt.
Yeah. But the Jewish calendar is based on the cycle of the moon.
Yes.
And the Roman calendar
they're in the year 5,000 something.
Right, and I think 56 or 5,700, something around up in that area. But the Roman calendars, as you said, the Gregorian or the Roman, it's a Roman based on the sun.
Yeah, the Julian calendar, no, the Gregorian calendar.
Yeah, and the Gregorian,
which is what we use.
Yep.
It's funny, just studying the history of calendars, you look at different areas of the globe, you use different calendars.
Well, different cultures, too.
Yeah, different cultures have different calendars.
The Persians were quite advanced in doing their own they and astrology. They were the ones who brought us astrology. And they also studied, the skies as well, in coming up with these astrology.
I know that when they were doing that program, they said that even the Chinese recorded the conjunction of the two, although they didn't. But it is recorded by the Chinese that they saw a new star in the sky.
Well, other than scientists today, because we have, we have the Hubble in the skies and other satellites that are monitoring the skies. But back then, the skies, people watched the skies, the educated people.
Even though they didn't have modern equipment, they did pretty good.
They did excellent. They figured it out.
If you look at the Mayan city where they have an observatory, which looks exactly like a modern one. It has that domed roof, except they didn't have a telescope to put in there.
Right.
But they studied the stars.
Big time. Yeah, it wasn't until Galileo came around and made the telescope.
Oh, yeah. Poor Galileo.
Yeah. So
but anyway, I thought you might be interested in that.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Thank you. I'll check it out, Jay.
Okay.
Have
a good day.
Yeah. Bye-bye. We got to take some more calls here. We got a lot of calls. Let's see, Matt, which way am I going here? I don't know. 3? Okay. Very good afternoon to you, caller. Hello. Are you still there with us? I'm sorry to keep you holding so long. Well, if you're there.
Hello.
Hey, you're on.
I'm on.
Thank you for your patience.
Ralphie.
Oh, Billy.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know it was you. Okay.
That was me.
All right. I can't tell here because, Matt can see the numbers. He's closer to the screen than I am, and I guess if he knows the number, he knows it's you.
Oh.
But
okay.
I don't know. I just hit the button here, and you're here, so that's good.
Yeah.
How you doing? All right?
Good.
Good.
I got a little letter from the woman that bought that Jeep.
Uh-huh.
And
that's the customer you sent down.
Yeah, she said that it's like the old-fashioned way a handshake mean business, that's true. And you don't get that today, she said.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's dying off in today's cutthroat world, But there's still, Billy, it comes down, and you know this as well as I do, that character matters, integrity matters, keeping your word matters, and apologizing matters when you make a mistake. The basics of life still haven't gone away. It's just
I know, but
they're just not respected as much.
And but wherever you go, you don't get a good handshake, and that means that's my man's word.
Yeah.
That's the way I was
brought
very,
up.
very happy.
That's the way I was brought up.
Yep. You know that.
The old timers used to teach that all the time.
You used to get your butt kicked from the old man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. Yeah.
So, what's going on, Ralph?
Well, we brought a few cars in, Billy, over the week. Been on the road. Andy just brought in a nice 07 Buick LaCrosse, which I don't think it's been posted yet. We don't have any pricing on it, but only $35,000. Matter of fact, one of our radio listeners, he's the one who brought it to us. But I guess the car's being, getting ready for service. But it's an 07 Buick LaCrosse. If anybody's in the market with $35,000, it's a very nice car. Real nice car. We have an 2011 Fusion with a V6, the small 6, and it's a nice clean car, Billy. Sells for just under $13,500 for somebody who wants something newer. Brought in, let's see, what else did we bring in? Let's see. We brought an 07 PT Cruiser that we have on the lot with 78,000 miles for under $6,000. That's a nice car, a nice solid car. I like PTs because the cage on them the bodies are solid because they're built in the old style,
Yeah.
And the curves and all that add strength to it, It's
solidly packed car.
Yeah, it adds strength to it. And that's why you see cars that are like square will have lines in them to create strength in the sheet metal. But those old cars, the way they designed them, their bodies are very rugged, and the PT is an example of that for a small car.
That's right.
I have a great little Altima, 2000 Altima GLE. The mileage is under 100, just around 90, which is real low for that car. Priced at under $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got a sunroof. I think it has leather. I could be wrong, but it's clean for the money and low mileage. So it represents a good car for somebody to have, if you don't want a payment, or if you do finance it, you'd have a very, very low payment if your credit union takes you on. An 05 Honda Element, which I had in. We're getting ready. It needs a little bit of work on the bumpers, but that's a nice machine for under $9,000. It's an all-wheel drive, so it gets you through the winter. And plus, you can load in all kinds of equipment. So anybody who, if you're a DJ or have a band or you got a lot of kids with activities, you can pilot in that car. It's very, it has a tremendous amount of utility, tremendous amount. Got a 2000. We have a 2000. What am I saying? A 98 Grand Cherokee that is flawless. It's the last year of the first generation of the body styles. Bill, you remember those?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Yep.
The Jeep is like brand new. It only has 76,000 miles, and it is mint condition. Nice Jeep for somebody who's into Jeeps and you want to.
Look at the iron 6-cylinder, 4-cylinder.
6.
6?
6. The iron engine, the cast iron.
Cast iron engine. Yep.
4 liter. It's basically a bulletproof engine in the industry.
Yeah, those. I don't know, boy. Those are tough engines.
Yep. It's nice, solid. I believe it has the part-time and the full-time 4-wheel drive. It's a nice Jeep. It's a collector's Jeep, actually. It's priced at under $55,000, and no rust. I haven't seen a Jeep in that generation this clean in years now. All right, this is like must have been in the garage all the time. It hasn't been driven much, obviously, with 76,000.
Yeah,
miles.
right.
So it's a really nice Jeep for somebody who wants a quality, clean.
Is that automatic or standard?
Automatic.
Automatic.
They only built 1 year of standards in that
in that class?
generation, yeah, and it was in the first year of '93. They built a stick, but those are extremely rare, and it would be worth. I would say if you'd have to, if it was a good one, if this car was a stick,
yeah,
and as clean as it is, it would be bringing substantially more than a 55.
Right.
Even though some people would say a stick, to them it would be worth less, but to the right person who knows the rarity of that production run, it would probably bring another $3-4 grand.
No, that's what I was asking. I know better.
Yeah, no, I would say a standard shift, an 03, it would have to be a 93, only built 1 year.
I know, but that's what I was asking when if it was standard or what, because I didn't know exactly what year when they stopped making the sticks.
It would be worth substantially more money. The new Jeeps are nice, the newest generations, but they're all like everything else is going. They're computer driven.
Every other SUV they look the same.
Yeah, and they're computer driven cars now. And these old Jeeps were solid. They were made to run solid, and they were simple. The average guy could take care of them and work on them, and it's a different ballgame today. You know, they're all electronic, it's all software driven, and they're all going into smaller engines, higher, you know, for higher gas mileage, and the cars are all becoming more they're looking more alike, becoming just almost more, kind of like a commodity. And manufacturers don't like to hear that.
I know, but a Jeep used to be a Jeep.
Yeah.
When I, as far as I'm concerned, now the new Jeeps, they look like any SUV, just with the name Jeep on it.
Yeah, they had that new one that came out with, I think what they call it, the Pronto. It's Fiat built, so they're all internationalizing these things. It's a whole different world. I mean, these new codes that are coming online, which starts really to bite in 2016. A lady was talking to me about a friend of hers who bought a brand new car, and she was very, very upset with it because this new one, brand new model, I think it's a 16 she got. They shut off now at a stoplight, and when you hit the gas, it starts up again. She's very upset about that. So she says, "Is that a problem with the car?" I said, "Well, no, that's the new designs now they're doing to save money." She says, "Oh, she was complaining so much about it." I said, "Yeah, it's kind of like when you're driving on a golf course and you get into your propane-powered golf cart. You know, when you hit the puddle, it starts up and goes.
Yeah, right.
Same thing with these cars. So I imagine in future there'll be a lot of starter work to be done, and
I would think so.
And the switches and all that. So it's going to be a whole new dynamic going forward to keep these machines up and running. But that's what they're doing to save mileage. They're really doing things to. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, obviously, you burn less fuel, you save a little bit of money, you add less carbon in the atmosphere. So
what the heck? The gas is so cheap now, and nobody cares anymore. They drive like crazy.
Well, even when it was $4, they still drove like crazy.
So, you know, I didn't make it
I mean, a little more money in your wallet.
Yeah, I know, but, you know,
you can buy more cigarettes,
I don't care
Billy.
what the gas goes to. People are not going to start driving.
Billy, you can buy more cigarettes than whiskey now, so. Or pot. What am I saying?
Well,
pot.
I don't know.
So that's the world, but we.
But anyway, I got to come up and see you this week.
Yeah, you know a car I got there? You might want to hop in, take a look. I got a 2011 Volkswagen Golf diesel, and it's a really nice car. You got to check it out. It's in the showroom actually.
Yeah, I got to come up and.
But it's a TDI. Yeah, it's a TDI. It's a 4-door, a nice car. And it's priced at under $14, Bill. You ought to check that out. I got a beautiful Honda Accord, too, an 03.
Well, you know about rice burners. The only one I really like, you know the one I like.
Yeah, the Lexus.
Yeah, and I could live with that. The rest of that, they just don't turn me on.
There's a few others I could show you to get you excited. The Accord's okay. I mean, this one, it's not a Lexus for sure, but it's a 4-cylinder Accord with 84,000 miles for an 03 is exceptional.
You got to go from an 8 to a 4, huh?
Well, you'd have a hard time. You'd have a hard time with that. You'd have a hard time with that.
Yeah. Well, I got to come there when the CAD needs
all right.
some little work. And now listen.
Yeah.
On your computer, I want you to look at this car. Okay. It's a 1947 Pontiac Streamliner station wagon.
1947 Pontiac.
Yeah, look at this car. It's to me, it's a real nice looking car.
It's a 47 Pontiac.
Pontiac,
what?
1947 Pontiac.
A Streamliner?
Streamliner wagon, station wagon.
Steamliner?
Yeah.
So it must be a big boat.
A Streamliner.
Oh, Streamliner. All right.
Streamliner station wagon.
All right.
It's maroon with the woody on it. And look at this car. With all the motors are running around the quarters.
It's a Woody.
Front quarters.
It's a Woody, right?
Yeah, it's a Woody.
Okay. Yeah, I see it here now. Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah. It's yeah, it's a good size.
With the Indian head.
Yeah, it's a big rig.
Nice looking job, huh?
With the fender skirts and those big white wall tires.
Yep. And you notice the moldings are running all along the bottom of the quarters.
Yeah.
Front and rear.
Yeah. Big wide molding at the door sill.
Yes. Well, all the way back. You see it?
Yeah. That's a tremendous. And that was real wood too, Bill. Huh?
That was real wood. Yes.
Wow.
That was imitation yet. No.
See, we did it in this country.
Yeah.
We did a lot of things in this country.
It's good. Got the big silver streak right down the hood.
Yeah.
The wide strip that all Pontiacs had.
Yeah. It's a
with the Indian head.
Now that had a flathead, a straight 8.
Yeah, it was straight 8 or 6. Yeah.
Straight 8 overhead valve, right?
No, flatheads.
That's a flathead. Okay.
Yeah, Pontiac didn't come out till 55.
Okay.
With the overheads.
But
it's always a 6 or an 8.
I thought Pontiac...
No. Straight. What's that?
Buick made a straight 8 in an overhead, right?
Yeah, they always made always a straight 8, but they were overheads.
The Buick?
And Buick until 53 was half and half.
Okay, I remember the Buick straight 8s. Straight 6. Straight 8. What am I saying? Straight 8, not V8. Straight 8 Buicks.
Yep, overhead valves.
Right.
And half through in 53, halfway through, is when we went to the needlehead V8 engines overhead. Mm-hmm. That was a half and half year.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
I just wanted to look at that Pontiac. I thought that was a nice-looking wagon this day.
Matt's got the nose here. He's looking at. Is that the nose of it, Matt? You're looking at? It's not that isn't Chief Pontiac.
It's got three bumper uprights.
Okay, yeah.
In the front of this car.
I remember the Pontiacs when the Indian used to light up.
Yes, the Indian head. Red, right.
Yep.
That was more back in, the early 40s and...
50s.
No, even up to the 50s. You're right, up to the
50. 50s. Yeah, 55, 56, I think it went away.
Oh, well, no. 1, 2, and 3. 51, 2, and 3.
Okay.
The Catalinas, the hardtops, had that red Indian head that lit up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
You're all right. You're in the ball on that one. Well, Ralphie, okay, so I just thought I just happened to run across this and I said, I thought that was a nice-looking station wagon in its day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was, yeah. Super Chief, yeah.
Yep.
Well, stop by. I got to talk to you.
All right, Ralph.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Bill.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Very good afternoon. Let's see. Very good afternoon to you, caller. Look at the clock. Like, duh.
Hi, Ralph.
Hi.
I want to say that I really enjoy your show.
Okay.
And I know, like, your buddy Billy there and other people would comment how cars all look the same these days. And I've got an article here, and I'm going to just try to skim through it. It says, here's how the government has ruined the U.S. auto industry. What's happened is, and I know you know this stuff because you're up on it, but I just want to read it for everybody, like myself, and, you can comment whatever you like. What's happened is that the car companies decided about 20 years ago to work with the government rather than for their customers on the theory that if you can't beat them, join them. Instead of fighting mandates tooth and nail, government bureaucrats decreeing the features and equipment your next car will have and which you will pay for, the car companies came to the realization it was less hassle and more profitable to embrace the mandates, even to the extent of anticipating the next one, to assist the government in thinking up new things to charge people for. For example, backup cameras. These will no longer be optional after model year 2017. If you want to buy a 2018 model, you will have no choice about buying the camera for safety, of course. And de facto, this is already the case. It is hard to find a 2015 model car or truck that doesn't have a backup camera as part of its suite of standard equipment. Often it is bundled with features you might actually find useful or desirable, like an upgraded audio system or GPS.
Right.
Rather than wait for the mandate to kick in, the car companies went all in already. And one of the things they like about that is that these things will break, and because these cameras will be part of the federally mandated suite of safety features, it is a legal requirement that the system be maintained in operational use on your dime, or else the car in many states will fail the safety checks that you must submit to every year in order to renew the registration.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just jump through here.
This is the future, though. It's happening now.
Yeah. The car companies realized that, like it or not, the government had become their demographic, the car industry term for the object of their efforts, the audience they build cars for. So you say, like, that's why all the cars look the same, because the government is kind of pretty much mandating what the cars will look like, what the cars will be like, and the auto industry, instead of working for their customers, has just said, well, what the heck? We'll make more money by go along with the changes that the government wants, because like the backup cameras, when they break, and you're the one who's going to have to pay for it.
Well, yeah, it's part of the car, yeah.
And it says the same forces are driving the adoption of small, heavy turbocharged engines in lieu of the simpler and less expensive, lower profit margin, larger, not turbocharged engines that most cars used to be powered by. The reason for this is not market demand. It is government edict, specifically the CAFE standards, corporate average fuel economy.
Well, you said it in a word. Your whole story there is based on that very phrase right there. That's what's doing it all.
Next year, 2016, all new vehicles, this includes trucks, incidentally, will be required to average at least 35.5 miles per gallon on the government's test loop. Those that average less will cost you more in the form of gas guzzler taxes, but also in the wallet. Now, it get cut off here.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I get the gist of it. But
yeah, so it's not, simpler is out, more complicated is in, and the car companies, instead of going by customer demand, is just falling in line with what the government demands, and they're looking for what they can make a profit on.
To a degree, but looks still matter. I mean, some companies will prosper if they have a certain look over another. A car that's more homely looking, and performance and style to a degree is still there. But where these things the convergence is going to be starting in 2020, when autonomously operated automobiles become on the road. It's no longer the future; it's in the present. And with Google's cars, their new, totally remotely operated car, where you don't have to drive it, and you just give it instructions, and it follows its GPS satellites and takes you where you're supposed to go. And that's going to end the car. People won't care about the looks; it's the utility of getting me from point A to point B. So. That's...
I wonder how that's going to work, though. When there's there's going to be accidents no matter what, and there's going to be lawsuits, and then the guy who's sitting in the driver's seat is going to say, "Well, I wasn't driving it. It was the car that went out of control." And like in an auto accident, who's going to be at fault? They're going to be counter-suing back to Google or whoever they can blame. So I just wonder how those. Well, I know what you're saying, but
Google's driving of these cars, they've had accidents, but it's been caused by human error, not by their computers so far. The majority of them. They've had a few, but the overwhelming majority of accidents with their machines have been because of human error, not because of their machine screwed up. So that's what they're saying in their research so far. But I'm sure there'll be software glitches. It's
oh sure.
And
there'll be sunspots dropping, the satellites drop out of out of range or whatever, and
well, that brings us into a whole new dynamics when you get into electromagnetic pulse. Our enemies put into the skies and knock out knock off all our RF communication equipments, Wi-Fi, automated cars, computer systems.
We'll all be looking up Billy to buy cars off him. Those will be the only cars that are running.
That's right. Points and condensers. Points and condensers.
Yeah.
The only thing is, there'll be so few guys that know how to set a set of points and condensers. Got to let you go.
I still know how to do it because I did it when I was growing up.
That's
but
it.
I just want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to interject something here. I listened to your show a week or two ago, and you and that guy Jay were discussing something, and I listened to both you talking, and I says, you know what? These two guys are two guys that should switch and take each other's jobs and try that for a while, because I hear your comments sometimes about public sector workers and all the great benefits and stuff they have. And that's true to some extent. But now he comes on and he talks about people who own a business and all the great, so-called great tax breaks and stuff that they get. And I think you two guys should sit in each other's chairs for a little while and see if you don't find the real truth. Because, you know, I mean, yeah, I know. I talked to some people who have public sector jobs, and, you know, they might have pretty good benefits, but they don't like their jobs that much, and they don't feel like they're treated that well. They have bosses that try to get them to do their work so they can just sit on their behinds.
Oh, I know.
And they find it very unfulfilling. And the same thing, it's funny when I hear him or anybody else talking about all the fantastic tax breaks that someone gets for running a business. I always said, you know, I tried starting some small businesses years ago, but I realized it was so darn hard, and all the hours you have to put in. I just want to do my own job, go home after 40 hours, and have my own life. You start a business, and you do, you know, you'll do that job 40 or 50 hours. Then you go home and you do the paperwork, get the supplies, order all this stuff. And the tax breaks, I don't know. They're not that great. I think.
I hear you. No, it's a commitment. It's a commitment. I got to let you go to other calls.
Okay.
Time's running out. Thank you for the call.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Hi, caller. Very good afternoon. Thanks for your patience.
Hey, Ralph. Norm here.
Hey, Norm. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm going to touch bases on the last three callers with what I wanted.
Yeah.
One was this gentleman made a lot of sense, though, because they want these energy-efficient cars, and now we went up 5 cents a gallon, I believe, with Duval on the fuel tax. So we're paying
3 cents, yeah.
52 cents a gallon, federal and state. People get upset at the service station owner, but they don't get upset on how much the government's taxing us on our fuel.
Most people don't have a clue.
Exactly.
No, they don't. Most people don't understand that all the hidden taxes behind a product you buy.
Oh yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, that's right. They want to have a fuel-efficient cars. They want to have I call it the European look on the cars, which I don't particularly like. I like my older stuff, and as long as I can get parts, I'll keep it going.
Yeah, no, I hear you, but
especially with the trucks.
But the future is the laws passed, and you know, it's all driven by this global warming and carbon emissions, and this is what's forcing these things, and it's a global effort. The Europeans are doing it. We're doing it. Obama got it through, and it's radically transforming everything, not just cars, your water heater, your boiler, anything that uses carbon fuels is going to be redesigned to burn less of it. That's the way it is, my friend.
You know what I say?
News coming up. I got to let you go.
Crime wouldn't pay if the government ran it. I'm going to back up to the next one. You were talking about the PT Cruiser you had, right? And the old, but wasn't the PT to stand for panel truck? Did they look like the old panel truck?
Yeah, they used to have panel truck on the Chevys, the GMCs.
Dodges, they had them Fords. They all had the whole.
Gotta go. Thanks, Norm.
All right. Well,
we'll be back, folks, after the news. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, we're back. All about cars. My name is Ralph Medeiros. For those of you who just tuned in, the show is all about cars. I own and operate Ralph's Auto Center in the north end of New Bedford with my son Andrew, located at 867 Church Street. We're right off exit 5, just down from Regal House and Webb and now the Dollar General, and it's Ralph's right next door to it. And we're directly opposite of New Bedford Vocational's faculty service entrance. Very easy to get to, and Little People's College is kind of diagonal to us. Very easy to get to, not a traffic light or a stop sign if you're coming off the highway. So you can see us for service. We service all makes and models of automobiles, except for warranty work, of course. You have to go to the dealer for that. But pretty much everything else, if it's something we don't get into because we need a certain computer we don't have, certain cars are very specific, we'll advise you accordingly. We won't waste your time or ours. And we know other people in the business who handle certain things, and they're efficient at doing that type of procedure. Almost like the medical procedure, right? Cars are getting that complicated. But And we also sell quality used automobiles. We sell our primary line is between $4,000 and $15,000. We do sell cars that cost substantially more. We bring them in for people. So if you're in the market for a certain car, gear, a newer car, or near new, or even new car. I know so many new car dealers. I've helped a lot of people. They don't want to be involved in the hassles of the negotiation, and they'll approach me and say, hey, can you get a car like this at the right price? And I'll say, sure. And I can make a phone call and make arrangements and see that you're treated with respect, and you don't have to put up with any of the malarkey that some places are known for. Not all. There are some good guys out there. But there are a few, there's always a few bad apples that you have to watch out for in any trade, in any endeavor. Okay? So, but we can help you there as well. But we do specialize in clean, low mileage automobiles for the year, and with no rust. We don't buy cars that are wrecks or floods. We're not into that. No frame damage. That's not our bag. There are other guys who deal in that. Fine, that's their business. We don't. We sell clean, quality cars. We put the money in before they hit the curb, and we try to make them right. If something happens after the delivery, we take care of you. We try to, we keep to our word, and keep our word and make the car right under the terms of our warranties. Most of our cars come with 90 days, the majority of them, and most places you're lucky to get 30, and that's the way it is. So we've been in business since 1959. We've been at it for a long time, and now my son has helped me out in running the store. And and we also, if you inherited a car, someone passed away, or someone can't drive, we can help sell that car for you or just liquidate it for you. Turn it to cash, boom, it's done. It's off your hands, you don't have to worry about it. Or we can sell it for you if the car meets certain qualifications. We only put our name or get involved with cars that are decent. If they got real severe problems, they have to be dealt with, or we just can't sell it because we don't want to be involved in selling cars that just don't have the required mechanical condition, and be involved in a sale that someone's going to be unhappy down the road or shortly thereafter. We just don't get into that. We've had cars, people have cars that we've sold that we've had to do certain repairs to them to make them right, and they understand that. Everybody's on board and knows what we have to do to make the car sellable with confidence. So that's where we come from, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But so if you're in a situation that you want to get off a car, an extra car in a family, or an inherited car, we can help you, be of service. We've helped many, many people in different situations. So everybody's different. There's no two things, situations that are the same. Also, if your car's been totaled, the insurance company's getting real tough in settlements now. They're not making money in the stock market. So they don't have any returns coming on their investment side there, so they tighten down on what they have to pay out. So if your car was totaled, they're going to be a little tougher to deal with. A lot of these, the underwriters, okay, the big names, who not the agency. Obviously, it's the underwriter of your insurance that you got through your agent. So, but we can help you there. We give you no charge. We can give you some ideas to the value of your car, what's going to happen if if your car's totaled and you had to come into the marketplace and replace it. Usually what they want to pay you and what the reality of the market is, the difference, a lot of people are surprised. So it does, for your own education, it's wise to check it out and at least have an idea of the true value of your car and not just rely on their interpretation of that value. And obviously they're going to want to pay out the least amount they have to make you sign off. So it's certainly in your interest to be informed and educated. And I've dealt with some people who've gotten very fair offers, okay? And I've had people who've been shorted, okay? Unfortunately, sometimes they come to me and they talk about it after the fact. Well, it's too late. You left $500, $800, $1,000 on the table. So everybody's different situations. No shoe fits all everybody. So there you have it. Give me a call here, 996-0500, 996-0500. We can talk about whatever's on your mind. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice here. I have a lady who's been waiting. I'm going to take this call. Caller, are you still with us?
I am.
Thank you for your patience. You have the patience of Solomon.
I'd like some information on detailing cars.
Okay.
I understand you do them in-house.
Yes, we do. We have a full-time detailer, Ronnie. He's very good at what he does. And there's different levels of detailing. Has your car been detailed before?
No.
No. Well, depending on the condition, on the outside we can buff them down. You'd have to talk to Ulysses for the level of detail that you'd want.
Yeah, he's worked on our cars. As a matter of fact, we were there this week. He changed the oil and put some filters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can. If we can bring your car back to you'll be. A lot of people are shocked when they go see the car. If their car hasn't been detailed and they've just done casual washings or vacuuming out once in a while, and then when the car's detailed and brought back, a lot of people are surprised to see the condition of the car is still pretty good.
We usually do our own detailing.
Do you? Yeah, that's okay.
But I do want to have it, professionally detailed, and I'd like to have the. Do they clean the engines still?
Yep. We clean the engines. We shampoo the rugs.
Yeah.
If that's the treatment you want, we shampoo the seats. If they're not leather, we can clean the leather, but we can also shampoo and clean it with we got a professional machine to clean the interiors and the rugs of the car. And we also wash the engines down and, clean them up, degrease them. And the outside of the car can be buffed and waxed. And, depending on the level that it needs.
Yeah.
And we can bring the car back, like I said, it'll look like a new car.
Now, when you say wax, do they use that bottle wax that you just...
We have a hard wax we use.
Hard wax.
Yeah, we have like a cabana wax, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
It's a hard wax. It's not the soft, easy. Usually the easy going on means easy coming off.
Right.
So it doesn't last.
Yeah.
So we use all professional products because we do so many cars. As a matter of fact, our bills for the cosmetics are quite high. I mean, these chemicals and different chemicals we use and shampoos are pretty expensive today.
Yeah.
But we do such a volume. Now, I mean, I could actually send my cars out. They have these like... they call them like auction cleaners, they're industrial cleaners, but they're sloppy. They're not as detail oriented. They make the car look good, at least at the moment. Okay, so it sells, but we do a much more thorough detailing of the cars, and that's why Ronnie's there. He's worth having there to do a quality work.
Oh yeah, because there are some who do quality, some who do it, but it's not done right.
Right.
And I'm a woman, and I know we used to have a gentleman who did the cars, and boy, you couldn't find anything wrong with what he did.
Yeah. No, detailing is a trade. People say, it's just cleaning cars. Oh my God, that's such an understatement. That's being disrespectful to the trade.
That's right.
It truly, truly is. It's disrespectful. It's a trade in its own right to detail automobiles and boats, for that matter. It's the same idea. So there's a lot to it. A lot to it to make a car look good, smell good, you name it, to go right through it. Especially today, where people live in their cars much more. Today, people spill coffee, milk, cookies, you name it, are in there. And if you have a van, oh my God, with kids and stuff, you can see the rug move sometimes. There's so many ants and bugs in it, because kids are dropping cookies and you name it. And there's a mess in the seats. They pee on the seats, you name it. So vans are usually really take a lot of effort to bring back. So yeah, we've been involved in that. We can help you there for sure.
Okay, I'll go by and
talk to Ulysses and he can help you out.
See what level it is and the price. And actually, you had fixed for my granddaughter when she got home from school. Her door panel was coming off. You had done some work on the car, and she had it duct taped. If you remember, that was a Jeep.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yes.
I remember that.
And Ulysses fixed it.
We got it patched up for him.
Yeah.
That's good. Duct tape's okay. Really, it's a guy thing. What's that?
She was really surprised because when she opened the door, it didn't fall off.
That's comfortable. Yeah. Well, that's good.
Okay, Ralph. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being patient and waiting.
Oh, that's okay. I was doing work while I was waiting, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's efficiency. That's good American, that's what it's all about, productivity.
That's it. That's what it's all about.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for your show. It's very good.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. Bye-bye. Hi, caller. You with us?
Hey, Ralph. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay.
Good.
You got a lot of things to talk about because you had a lot of interesting conversations today.
Oh, well,
so I'm going to get started.
Okay.
First, cars, and somebody was commenting about backup cameras.
Yeah.
I just bought a new car. I didn't have to buy a backup camera.
Well, some cars, they're putting it in now as a standard feature. You don't have to buy it. It's going to be mandatory.
Of course, it does jack up the price, doesn't it?
It would, yeah. I mean, electronics have fallen, but, yeah, it would.
I noticed has disappeared, but now is an option.
What's
body side moldings.
True. Very true.
Yeah. So when I got my Toyota 11 years ago, it came with body side moldings.
You say you're dating yourself, but
excuse me?
You're dating yourself when you say body side moldings.
Boy, I'm still alive. My new Toyota, $220 for body side moldings.
That's not bad. I mean, it's not. That's factory body side or an optional.
Put on by the dealer.
Yeah. Well, that's not too crazy.
No, I didn't say it was bad.
Yeah, no, price-wise.
I said, all of a sudden it is an option,
Yeah.
But I do like the protection.
Yeah.
Some Yahoo in the parking lot whacks your door.
Yeah.
A carriage comes careening across the parking lot.
Yeah.
Something like that. But in any event.
Your luck, though, the carriage will be just above the molding.
It's only my luck it would be. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
But what I find interesting, a little quick side trip.
Yeah.
About the new Toyota versus the old. The driving feel is different.
Okay.
I feel like I'm driving a computer.
Okay, good analogy. Okay.
Yeah, you don't have the same tactile sense that you used to have. But that's my opinion.
Good observation.
Next, when we play public versus private, whether it's worker or organizations, I think it's kind of like pitting two people against each other, and the big guy at the top sits back and laughs.
Exactly, I agree.
Both of them.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. There's griefs. There's everybody can have complaints on both sides. I mean, I don't see work as work.
For example, the hubbub last winter about the MBTA, the commuter rail. Well, that's a part of the MBTA that's privatized.
I think, and I'm not that well versed on it, but I think they have a management company that runs it for them.
Yeah, well,
but all the workers
do a good job.
All the workers are part of the MBTA, and are paid a pension through the state, I guess, indirectly.
In terms of the pension had nothing to do with the mess of getting through the snow. That's
no, absolutely not.
Problem.
No, but the employees are part of the MBTA, not part of the management team that runs it for the state.
Yeah, so it's actually, in the end, it's controlled by a segment of the private sector.
Well,
a comparison would be the Big Dig. It was the prime contractor was a private company called Bechtel.
Right,
one of the largest contractors in the world.
Correct.
And everybody's not happy with a lot of the price of that. Well, did they do a good job of controlling their subcontractors? From stories I heard, maybe not.
Yeah, but you don't think they got onto that feed without political cooperation, do you?
One hand washes the other, doesn't it?
Don't they're all feeding at the trough?
That you and I will agree on.
Yeah, they're all feeding at the trough.
I look at what's happening with my profession. What's being mandated with us. And I think some of this mandating is not simply government, but private sector. In other words, if we go to the new test called POC, well, there's going to be a company that makes money off of that.
Well, it's I've said this before publicly. I mean, at the higher levels, it's the we basically it's the corporatization of government.
I agree with that.
It's more of a fascist type setup where we game the system. They run the system at the highest level.
What really bothers me with my profession, and disagree with me, please. I always like people to be honest with me. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't see any evidence how any of this has made education better.
Well, I mean, there's how many workers down at the federal educational 80,000 workers? I mean, what's happening? I mean, they don't...
No, that's not... Maybe I expressed myself wrong, but, I'll give you an example. The other day, since I teach chemistry, I'm a bear about safety, because that's one place you could get hurt. So I required the kids to watch a video, take a test on it, and they did very well. But when they answered the questions, it is the worst English I have ever seen in a high-level class.
I'm laughing, but I fully understand where you're coming from.
You know,
but you don't understand the vernacular today. We talk in text.
Maybe that's
we talk in text. You have to just resolve yourself to the realities of our society. See, the teachers, and I have empathy for educators like yourself, frankly, I'll be very honest with you, because you're dealing with today's culture.
You're right. It's
today's culture. So let's blame the teachers for all the flunkies that are out there and all the moronic behavior and just it's unfortunately in poorer urban areas like New Bedford and throughout the country, frankly, it's the whole mindset is it's a whole different game out there.
We have very much changed as a country.
No, absolutely.
So
who do we blame?
If I may.
Who do we blame?
I have this. I co-teach a class with another teacher, my superior, in fact, and we have IEPs for students who have special needs. And she asked me, would I take the time to summarize the part that applies to us? So I did that. One kid had, and this kid has some legitimate problems. I'm not saying he doesn't. 25 accommodations that you have to do in the classroom.
What do you mean, for him?
For him.
25, like what, speak in special English or something?
Repeat the directions.
Now, this is an American? This is not a...
He can take the test, open notebook.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
he's an American, right? I mean, he's not a foreigner who has an English...
Right.
All right. So he's one of us. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Okay.
But I'm not sure what that point was.
Well, I mean, he's an American. He's born and brought up. He's not a foreigner where he has a language barrier.
Right.
Okay.
But the kid's got very legitimate problems.
Okay.
I'm not arguing that. But I think we're cheating him. Why do I say that? I'm glad you asked. Mm-hmm. You didn't, but I'm pretending.
I go, yeah.
But seriously, that kid, even if he gets a diploma, that diploma is going to be worth toilet paper, because he will never have the skills to be able to use that diploma.
Mm-hmm.
I think you would be fairer to the child to prepare him for what he can do.
Well, they used to do that back in the 50s and 60s, but they didn't like that.
Dishonor to that. Remember, I said to my superior yesterday afternoon, it breaks your heart to see the kid get a raw deal.
But didn't they used to have, like, correct me if I'm wrong in my description here. Didn't back in the 50s and 60s and possibly the early 70s, they used to have like the smart class for the kids going to college, the B-level classes,
leveling,
right, and the C class were I don't want to say the flunkies, but those who had stronger backs than minds.
Yeah.
And but then that was considered.
But right.
Well, that was considered to be unfair. Economically, you're drawing demographic lines based on their economics, based on their racial backgrounds, and they made changes, and now they've homogenized it all.
Right.
So
but not everybody has equal skills.
Oh no!
I would love to be Tom Brady.
But
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, but you see, though, coming from the highest levels, and actually even from your association at the highest levels, the federal level, they're in favor of these type of things.
Well, yeah, that's the point I'm making.
And you're the rank and file. You have to deal with it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't work, it's not their problem. It's your problem.
Well, you're going to get blamed because Johnny still can't read.
Yeah, that's the point I was making. That I don't see education as a whole really improving. Maybe it's getting glitzy, more showy. I don't know.
I don't think any more kids are being pushed up, if you will. Because you have so many other forces pushing it down.
And if I'm wrong, if somebody can show me that the colleges are bragging about the kids they're getting from all the schools, that much better than before, they are better prepared than ever, please show me, because I will be happy to eat humble pie.
Yeah, no, I think the colleges, especially the public colleges, know this, and they have, remedial courses to build up their English, to build up their math.
Yeah, and of course they accept it because it's all, whether it's public or private college, it's all about the money.
Yeah, well, I don't think you're going to get into Harvard if you're going to be taking, your high school senior English over again.
Well, if Daddy has lots of money, you'll get into Harvard.
I could. Okay, yeah, especially if he's
Mr. Trump.
Yeah.
You know, he's fascinating. He has continued to say more and more bizarre things. That if it was anybody but Trump, they would have been sunk a long time ago.
I agree with you. His comments are almost biblical. Okay, I mean when I mean that, if you've read Psalms, there's Psalms written for him. They were written. That was when King Solomon wrote that. Was 5,000 years ago, if you go by the Jewish calendar. But I'll look them up. I was reading through Psalms, and I thought of Trump. I said, I should email him this. You
know, the interesting thing, is this Trump, or is he putting on the ultimate act?
No, it just goes to show that you can have a lot of money and still, the arrogance of the money brings out arrogance, I think.
You know, it's funny you use that choice of words. Yeah. I think, honestly, the people he appeals to fit that description.
Well, I know. I think he appeals to the masses out there, believe it or not, the proletariat. I think he appeals to a lot of the proletariat out there because they're sick and tired of the politically correct politicians out there who always say things are nice, things are great, everything's well, and they're not. They're not. We're in trouble. And you're bringing it up, too.
We're going to be a winner. We're going to win so much you're going to be tired of it. Well, how are you going to win? Well, the people don't really want to hear the how. Just that we're going to win.
But there are so many, there's a lot of people in this country who feel the country's gone way off track, and they'll go with a guy like Trump, even though he says some very caustic things. And
even though he may, in the end, be a huckster.
It could be. You're right. Like I said, the verdict is still out as far as I'm concerned.
One of the problems he had, like a previous caller mentioned the possibility of Carson and Christie. I don't think Christie.
Christie, I'm not impressed with Christie.
Well, even if you are impressed with him.
No, I'm not.
One of the problems you have is, at one point he was a possibility. Mm-hmm. But when you're so far away from the election, can you hold on that long?
Yeah, but when you look at Carson having high numbers and he comes out of nowhere, and it goes to show you that people are fed up.
Very unhappy.
People are fed up, left and right. I think more right than left, but I think people have just...
Well, I think most of them realize... I'll close with this. Thank you for the time, by the way. I got a quick other question for you.
Yeah.
I don't think either party serves us well.
No.
And they don't really care about us.
No, it's all about power.
Yeah. Last question.
Yeah.
The Mazda Miata.
Yeah.
Automatic. How hard is it to get?
To get one?
Yeah, because I don't see many.
I see them around. It's a mixed bag on the Miatas. Miatas are nice machines. They're quite a hot little car. The new one that just come out is gorgeous. I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen pictures of it. I haven't sat in one, but it's really a good-looking machine. Yeah. I do see automatics. There are a lot more sticks out there than automatics on that car, but they're out there. You have to, like if you said you wanted one in the spring, we would start looking now, and if we found the right car, the right color, the right mileage, the right price, then you hit it, and then you got like 4 months, 5 months to prepare for spring. And that would be a little more than that. But
we're going to have to chit-chat about that.
Yeah.
I know it's been suggested to me, well, buy a new one or lease one. And, but I'm not going to drive that car year-round. I don't want to plow out that kind of money.
I agree. I 100% agree with you. That's exactly my philosophy. That the Mazda Miata or the BMW 3 or 4, the Z3, Z4 would be a nice alternative if you wanted a Teutonic version of...
Well, I have, as a second car right now, a Camaro convertible.
Okay.
And I've gotten to the point in my life is, I want to run out of life and money at the same time.
Okay, that's...
If I'm going to use up one, I'm going to use up the other one, too.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'd run out of money first and then let society carry me. But by that time that happens, I'll be out in the streets. It'll be like
well, maybe by then everything will have collapsed anyhow.
It'll be like David Copperfield in England.
Hey, you take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Very good afternoon to you, caller. You're with us.
Yeah, hi, Ralph.
Hi.
I called back because I didn't get to finish before the news break. The most important thing I wanted to talk about was the guy that was talking about tires. There are plenty of tires made in America because I go out of my way to buy them.
Do you? What brands?
I find most Goodyear.
Yes, I agree.
Okay?
Goodyear.
I buy Goodyear tires, and I pay a lot of money for them because they last.
Goodyear's yeah, you're right. It's a more up-end tire.
I buy them for our trucks because we load heavy. We're always carrying heavy loads, so we wear out tires fast. The Goodyears outlast Michelin's on our heavy trucks.
Yeah.
I've also had good luck with the General tires, but now it's like they're almost impossible to find anymore.
Yeah, General Tire is a little harder, and the Kelly Springfields and those type tires.
I never had luck with Kelly's. The rubber was too soft.
Yeah, they crack on the sidewalls, yeah.
Yeah, but the heavy loads and the tires, we buy Goodyears. I bought some Bridgestones that are made here. I just put 4 loader tires on one of our loaders, and that was one of my things. They had to be made in America, and I ended up getting Bridgestones and made in America. And I bought Firestones for our heavy equipment, made in America. It matters to me. I've lost a lot of my customers since NAFTA. And it matters to me that we buy stuff made here, even if I got to pay a little extra as long as it's good quality.
I agree with you. You have to be focused on doing it. Now, sometimes you like to buy American. Sometimes the product isn't to the quality of a foreign brand, and you have to go foreign depending on the application. And that should be noticed to the companies to get more in the game. But I agree. You have to read. People have to educate themselves more and more.
And one last thing about tires, people don't realize. They see tires on the side of the road. Everybody tells me, "Oh, that recap blew off." We've had new tires where the thread peeled right off of a new tire. But the key to it is proper inflation because the air holds the load, and the tire is the container that holds the air.
Yeah, you're right. The Chinese tires, it was a truck, it was a truck line of tires that was imported from China by a small distributor in New Jersey, and their tires delaminated, and there were deaths resulting. And these are truck tires, and they went out of business overnight because of this, the liability and all. But the Chinese,
there's no doubt that the cheap tires last months and they fall apart. I mean. Yeah. If you're driving, the best commercial that I see is Michelin's, where they show the kid sitting in the tire and they're floating down the river because so much is riding on your tires. Right? Everything's riding on your tires when you go down the road. That's your life is in your hands.
Most people don't think that way, Norm.
No, they think about the cheapest price. I have guys that work for me. They go buy used tires all the time. They cannot bring themselves to buy a brand new tire, and it's like there's nothing like going down the road with new tires on your vehicle, whether it be a car, a pickup truck, a heavy truck like we run. There's nothing like having new rubber on your vehicle when you drive out.
I sent Matt a picture of a tire I took off a car. I don't know if Matt, can you post that on our website, on Facebook maybe, or on I took a tire off a car, Norm, or my guys did, and it's down to the steel treads, okay, the steel wire reinforcement, okay. When you look at this tire and they're driving around, it's nuts when you see it. I sent a picture to Matt this week, and I guess he'll put it up on our Facebook site, all about cars. And you should take a look at the picture. You won't be surprised. You've seen this before.
I better look though for your Facebook site, and I'll have to friend you guys over there because I'm not a big person to post much. But I will
check it out.
Up cars. But thank you for letting me get my 2 cents in the second time.
You're entirely welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Very good afternoon to you, caller.
Yes, Ralph.
Yes, speaking.
When you first came on this hour, you were playing the Sheik of Araby.
Correct.
Was that Jack Teagarden, the vocalist?
No, but I'm glad you asked. That was Red Nichols and his 5 pennies.
Oh, he sounded just like Jack Teagarden.
Yeah, I know Jack Teagarden's work. Yeah, that's Red Nichols did a lot of work, as you're probably aware, and his 5 pennies, and that version was done in 1930, recorded in 1930. Wow. So that's 85 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, time goes by.
Yeah, I was just curious because as I was driving, I heard, I said, what's his name? And I finally, Jack Teagon, but it wasn't all right.
I'm going to play one here. See if you recognize this guy I'm going to play right now. Go ahead, Matt. Why don't you cue that up? Let's see if we've got it. I got Matt doing all kinds of things here. He's our technical wizard. See if you recognize this guy here.
Look what you've done to me. You're almost twice as bad as who's this again? I ought to take you out. And how have you been? You this and that. You've got me, you know what. Is that the way to be? The Greeks have words for almost everything I know, but you little so and so.
Okay, can you hear me? If I get the button right here. Hello. Are we there? Okay. Carl, are you with us?
The only one that I can come up with from that era, Russ Columbo.
Russ Columbo. Wow, you dig deep. No, this guy here, and he's not that well known as Anson Weeks.
Oh, I've heard the name.
Yeah, he did a lot of work though. He's quite a character in the day.
Yeah.
They're all souls that are gone now.
Yeah.
That was recorded in 1932, and but it's a nice little beat. Keeps you, if your foot isn't moving or your butt's not moving or you're not tapping, then you're dead. The music was honest. You could understand the words.
Yeah.
You could hold a conversation while listening to it or have dinner. It didn't interfere with your thoughts or create negative energy. Yeah. And it kind of fits. See, they call this the Great Recession. And, if we're fortunate enough to live 10 years from now, they'll be saying, wow, we just went through the Second Great Depression. Well, I say to you today, we are in the Second Great Depression. And we're living it. And they call it all terms today that disguise what's really happening. But we are in a depression. This is the Second Great Depression. And,
all right, thank you for taking my call.
Thank you. Very good. Speaking of which, I'd like to read a few things here. We touch on a little bit about what's happening in our society, the middle class, and, the Democrats are going to do this for the middle class, the Republicans are going to do this for the middle class, and everybody's worried about the middle class, but really nothing much seems to happen except the continued erosion of the middle class and what's going to be necessary to fix it. And, you have people come along and they hitch their wagon to, like, Trump and other voices like him being the most vocal, I guess. But then he starts to unwind, and I don't know. Like I said, that's still a work in progress as far as me observing Trump, and it amazes me sometimes that the arrogance of his money and the way he talks, I would expect a little higher level. You can still be tough and get your point across, but be a little bit more civil, a little more polite and respectful. I think it goes a long way, and you can still be tough and arrogant and get it across, but without, I guess if he didn't have money, he'd be living on Bullitt Street, maybe, right? I mean, the way he talks and all that. I mean, I hate to use that analogy, but the only thing that keeps him different, I guess, is his checkbook, okay? I would expect a little higher caliber from him. And still, he could be tough. Don't get me wrong. He can still be tough. Who was the lady that was with the UN? Kilpatrick? I don't know if she's still Jane Kilpatrick, going back in the 80s. She was tough with the UN. I got it right. I have to look it up. But anyway, I'm going to read the following are 30 stats to show to anyone that does not believe the middle class is being destroyed. 1. In 2007, we'll probably run out of time. I won't get to them all. In 2007, the average household in the top 5% had 16.5 times as much wealth as the average household overall. That's in 2007, okay? But now the average household in the top 5% has 24 times as much wealth as the average household overall. 2. According to a study recently discussed in the New York Times, a typical American household is now worth 36% less than it was worth a decade ago. But you listen to Obama, you listen to your reps, your senators, your congressmen, they don't say these things to you, do they? No. Because, you figure it out. 1 out of every 7 Americans rely on food banks at this point. 1 out of every 7 Americans rely on food banks at this point. So that's basically just over 14% of society, okay? Just over 14% of society of Americans. But let's take in another 10,000 Syrians, which we maybe, not to deter, we did create the problem in Iraq and Syria, so we're a major player in that problems that are going on there, as well as Libya. So I guess we have to be responsible in that case. 4. 1 out of every 4 military family needs help putting food on the table. 5. 79% of the people that use food banks purchase inexpensive, unhealthy food just to have enough to feed their families. Well, look around. I don't have a doubt about that at all. 6. 1 out of every 3 adults in the United States has an unpaid debt that is in collection. Okay? 1 out of every 3 adults, okay? That's 33% of society in the United States has an unpaid debt that is in collection. 7. Only 48% of all Americans can immediately come up with $400 in emergency cash without borrowing it or selling something. Okay? 48% of the Americans cannot come up with $400 in cash without selling their TV, their wedding ring, or borrowing it. Okay? 8. The price of food continues to rise much faster than the paychecks of most middle-class families. For example, the average price of ground beef has hit a brand new all-time high of $3.85 a pound. According to one recent study, this is number 9, according to one recent study, 40% of all households in the United States are experiencing financial stress right now. That's 40%. 10. The overall home ownership rate has fallen to its lowest level since 1995. 11. Home ownership rate for Americans under 35 is at an all-time low. 12. According to one recent survey, 52% of all Americans cannot even afford the house that they are living in right now. Well, isn't that the truth? 13. The average age of a vehicle on American roads has hit an all-time high of 11.4 years. Okay? Well, I can tell you in the greater New Bedford area, it's even higher than that. Okay? It's the realities, folks, of what's happening to our country. 14. Last year, one out of every 4 auto loans in the United States was made to someone with a subprime credit. So that's 1 out of every 4. 25% of all the loans are subprime, meaning the person has very shaky credit, which means they pay a higher rate, and they're more apt to go upside down on it and have the car repossessed. 15, amazingly, 1 out of every 6 men in their prime working years, 25 to 54, do not have a job at this point. Okay, you don't hear Obama tell you that, do you? 16. One recent study found 47% of unemployed Americans have completely given up looking for a job. 17. 36% of all Americans do not have a single penny saved for retirement. Well, it'll be like Charles Dickens in another decade or so in America, okay? 18. According to one survey, 76% of all Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, that's 18. 76% of all Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have a doubt in my mind about that one. Okay, I'm losing my track here. Let's see. 18. According to one survey, 76% of all Americans, I read that, that's 18, are living paycheck to paycheck. 19. More than half of all working Americans make less than $30,000 a year in wages. Yeah, it's called the Mexification of American society, okay? It's like Mexico. In Mexico, you get the rich and you get the peasants. Very few middle class, okay? They don't even have a term for it, okay? So that's how it goes, amigo. Let's see, 20. Only 4 of the 20 fastest growing occupations in America require a bachelor's degree or better, okay? Only 4 of the 20 fastest growing occupations in America require a bachelor's degree or better. So that means there's opportunity for people who have, a degree of lesser than a bachelor's degree if they want to work. 21. In America today, 1 out of every 10 jobs is filled by a temp agency. That's a problem in its own right. 22. Due to the lack of decent jobs, half of all college graduates are still relying on their parents' financially when they are 2 years out of school. Okay, so that's true. A lot of kids are still living in their bedrooms or in the cellar, back home with mom and dad. Can't find a job, or they don't want to find a job. 23, because it's below them. They have a college degree. I'm not going to pump gas at merit. I got a bachelor's degree. Why I can't do that? I mean, that's the mentality out there. 23, the median household income in the United States is about 7% lower than it was in 2000 after adjusting for inflation. Gee, my president never tells me that. Neither does my senator or my representative. You don't hear these things, do you? 7% lower, okay? So what does that mean? You're getting poorer. 24, approximately 1 out of every 4 part-time workers in America is living below the poverty line. That's not hard to figure out or observe. 25, it's hard to believe, but more than 1 out of every 5 children in the United States is living in poverty in 2014. Well, it's true. 26, according to one study, there are 49 million Americans that are dealing with food insecurity in the land of the plenty. 27, 10 years ago, the number of women in the U.S. that had jobs outnumbered the number of women in the U.S. on food stamps. Okay, that was 10 years ago. I'll start that over again. Number 27. 10 years ago, the number of women in the United States that had jobs outnumbered the number of women in the U.S. on food stamps by more than 2-to-1 margin. But now the number of women in the U.S. on food stamps actually exceeds the number of women that have jobs. 28. If the middle class was actually thriving, we wouldn't have more than 2 million public school children that are homeless. 29. If you believe it, Americans received more than $2 trillion in benefits from the federal government last year alone. $2 trillion. In terms of median wealth per adult, the United States is now just 19th place in the world. And there you have it. Good news to think about this weekend of what's happening, or has happened, and in the process of continuing to happen, of our society. So, and you don't hear your politicians talk about things like this, do you? It's always about the future, this or this. They'll seek to divide between the haves and the have-nots, and they don't really get down to the real issues here, the real problems. And it's going to continue to, I can see things changing a hell of a lot in the future, other than things will continue to unravel. And I try to stay optimistic on this. Okay, we've got a few minutes left, I think. Right, Matt? Well, real close. No, we're almost out of time. We're out of time. Well, I want to thank you all for listening to All About Cars. To me, Ralph Medeiros, I really appreciate it. I hope you come by and see us at the store. And if you can do business with us, I'd appreciate it. We definitely need your support in the community. And we do try to give back in the community by giving people good value and treating them fair. And not, we try to patch you up, keep you going. We do a lot of restorative maintenance. And instead of replacing the whole component, sometimes we can do a part of it and save you a lot of money. And we continue on that mission because a lot of people are really pressed in this world. Thank you. Catch us again next week. God bless. Be safe this weekend. And look us up at Ralph's Auto Center in North End, New Bedford on Church Street. Thank you. Bye-bye.